Hello everyone, Formula Matt here and welcome to the INL evaluation race here in Austria, and here we are in the qualifying. So we are currently in P5, but we still, the lap that we have set isn't very good. It's a 1.4.3, and as you can see here, we are trying to improve. We are just about 3/10 up on this lap, and coming off these two corners, disaster happens. We go a little bit wide in the first one, and in the last one we invalidated. And yeah, but skipping on to my fastest lap, and as you can see, we are now coming up to the two final corners to start the lap. So we go into fourth and get a very nice exit. We use DRS, and now we are going to start this fastest lap. So we want to be braking just after the 100-meter board into fourth and use DRS and try to get a good exit. But as you can see here, we were not very committed and we did not gain a lot of time. And here you want to be braking just after the 100-meter board into first, but as you can see, we have a snap of oversteer, so we will lose some time, and we are now just under a 10th up, and that is not very good. But we brake after the 100-meter board in here into third and then fourth, and keep it tight in here. But after the 50-meter board, you want to be shifting to fifth gear and go wide on the exit, and then after the curb ends, you want to be in fifth gear and be as early as possible on the throttle. And in here, for these corners, you have to be very committed in here. So sixth gear, be very committed on the throttle, and here fourth, and activate DRS as early as possible and get a nice exit. But yeah, 1.3.9. I was pretty disappointed with my lap, since it was way slower than my personal best, and this lap was only enough for P7. And considering the fastest lap this time was a 1.3, I could have gotten in the podium for the qualifying. But yeah, in terms of strategy, I'm thinking of going soft to medium, so let's change that. The game says we should be pitting around lap 15, but here we are for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and away we go, and everybody seems to have a very decent start, but we are going to try to go around the outside of Centro. He covers it pretty nicely. We go on the curb and we have a huge oversteering movement. We go onto the grass and get overtaken by Jav and Marvick, and now Jordan and Xavier is right. We are side by side. We brake late. Jordan goes for a huge dive bomb, but he compromises his exit and we got a good exit. So we are past Jordan, and Xavi has to give us the position, and he actually does. But now we are going to do a huge dive bomb. Can we get the move done? No, we can't. We make some contact with Jarv, and me and Maverick are now side by side. He has the inside line. We try to brake late and try to go around the outside, but since he has the inside line, it is very difficult, and we can't make any more positions in terms of this lap. We try to fight back, but we run out of overtake. We try to go into the inside, but we think better of it, because if we try to keep it there, we would have made a huge amount of contact. But now, as you can see, Crown Place has actually dropped back, and Maverick and Crown Place are going side by side in this corner. We try to get a good exit, but no, we have a snap of oversteer, so we have to use the overtake button to try to stay with them. And as you can see, they are fighting very hard, so we are going to try to take advantage of that and get a good exit. But no, we switch to neutral, and that was enough. That was all the fight for these two laps. But now we are going to try and get closer to them to make an overtake. And speaking of overtake, we have caught Crown Place now, and we are gaining a lot of time in here. He seems to be struggling on his tires or on his setup, but we are gaining so much time. We use the DRS and the overtake, and we are gaining and gaining. We switch to the inside and we brake later than him, and that was the move done. But now our next target is Jav and Marvick. So skipping on to lap 5 to the start of lap 6, sorry. And as you can see, we are now in the DRS of Maverick and Jav, but we don't get a very nice exit, and they are just using the DRS of each other to pull away from me. But I seem to have good pace around here, so I am catching them, and we try to get a good exit, but Jav goes wide, and that allows Maverick to overtake him, and Jav is struggling a lot on his tires and on his setup, so we are gaining so much time. We brake late, we try to get a good exit, and Jav is just falling back. So now we are giving it everything just to make the move. So we brake after the 50-meter board into 4th, but as you can see, the dirty air is very significant in this game, and we should not stay in it because it will heat up our tire and the engine. But we are giving it everything. We are gaining so much time. Jav goes very wide, so we take advantage of that and we make the move done into the inside, and that was a pretty decent job, I would say. And now we are trying to catch Maverick at this point, but Jav is actually going. He is gaining on us because he has a DRS, but we get a 3-second time penalty. But now Jav has a DRS and overtake. He is gaining a lot of time on me. He goes into the inside. We try to outbrake him around the outside. We have a pretty good exit, but he has the DRS, and all we have is the overtake button. So it's a fight, and we brake after the black box. We try to brake later, but that was some pretty good defense by Jav, and he retakes P7. But yeah, now actually, since Jav was struggling a lot on his tires, skipping on to lap 9, Jav is actually going into the pit as we get another warning, but he is going to take the pit entry. So we are now going to push on up till lap and we are going to try to stretch the soft till lap 15, but we are having trouble with the throttle, and as you can see now ST5 has caught up to us, and we get a very bad exit from this corner. We go into the menu and try to slam on the throttle a couple of times to fix it, but the ST5 is now in front of us, and the only thing we can do now is try to outbrake him. We outbrake him, he goes wide, so we go into his inside. He has a better exit, but we have the DRS and the overtake, so we are gaining so much time. We switch to the inside and we outbrake him, and we retake P7. And now Zindro is very far ahead, but I seem to be struggling a lot on the tires. So skipping on to lap 13, I am going to go into the pits this time, but I was checking on the driver behind if he had penalties, and he seemed to have a 3-second time penalty. But as you can see, we completely fail the pit entry, and that was very, very embarrassing. We go into the grass, and we lost about 2 or 3 seconds in here. And let's see, is the pit crew going to do a nice pit stop? 2.6, so it's a pretty average one. So we did not gain a lot of time from this pit stop, and that was bad. That was very bad. And now, as you can see, Jav, ST5 and Crowdplays have actually overtaken me, so we have to push. But Jav is now into the grass. He has spun, so we are now into P10, and we have the better tires. We are on fresh mediums, they are on 5 laps old hards. So I am going to give it all and try to catch Countplays and SC5 and retake the positions. So skipping on to the lap 15, to the end of lap 15 and the start of lap 16, we are in the DRS zone of Countplays, and we are gaining a lot of time, and we are going to try to make the overtake in this lap. So as you can see, we get a good exit, and we are gaining so much time. We have the overtake button, we switch to the inside, we brake later than Crown Place, and that is the move done. And is Ground Plays going to try to fight it around the outside? No, he is not, because we get a very good exit, and now our next target is ST5, so we will need to catch him. He's on old hards and I am fresh mediums. But skipping on to the start of lap 17, we have actually caught up to him, but as you can see, I am very low on fuel. I only have I'm very low. If I continue like that, I won't have enough fuel to finish the race. But we are just about in the DRS zone, but we have a huge oversteering movement in the exit, and that has allowed Crown Place to overtake me again. But now we have to fight back and push on and try to catch him, because we had the position before, so we are going to try to catch him and redo the move. We are giving it everything, but we at the same time we have to save fuel in the corners, because if we, like I said, if we continue to use the fuel like that, we won't finish the race. But we now use we don't use overtake actually, and we are saving a lot of fuel. But do we get a pretty nice exit from this corner? No, we don't. Crown Place has a better exit, but we have the DRS. We use overtake for a fraction of a second, and we try to get a nice exit, but we cut the corner and get another warning. But now we actually have a good exit, and we are using overtake, and that is the move done before the corner starts and before the braking zone. And yeah, but Crown Place has now the DRS, so he is going to try to fight back. We go into the inside, we go defensive, and we outbreak him, and we say, no sir, this is my position now, and we are not going to let him by. And now we are going to try to catch ST5, but skipping on to the start of lap 20, as you can see, we are very low on fuel and overtake, and now Syndro, who is on fresh medium, is right at the back of us. So at this point I was thinking of letting him go, and I should save fuel and overtake. So he is going, I am going to let him by, and I'm going to let him do the work to catch ST5, and I am going to sit in his DRS zone and let him do the work. And that has actually worked very well, because in the start of lap 22 you can see Syndro has got up to ST5 and they are fighting. So, but we get a very nice exit in here. ST5 gets a very bad one, and Syndro gets a good one too. He goes past ST5, but now we have the double slipstream, and we take advantage of that and we dive into the inside of ST5, and that was a very nice move. And now we are going to give it my all, and I am going to try to catch Syndro, and I am going to let you enjoy this pursuit. Coming off this corner, we are very close to Syndro. We are just under 3/10, just above 3/10, and we are gaining so much time. We are going to try to get a decent exit to overtake him, but he goes wide and we make a little bit of contact, and that did not help my exit at all. But which way are we going to go? He covers the inside, so I am going to try to go around the outside, but he covers it pretty nicely, and that was from very good defense by Syndro. But we are going to push again and try to catch him. But as you can see, the dirty air in this game, we are just going wide at every single corner. But I seem to get a pretty okay exit from this corner, but we are gaining some time, but we go wide in here, and we don't get the good exit in here. Sindro has actually a very good one, but as you can see we are in 2% DRS and minus 30 fuel, so it is very hard for me to save fuel, and we get a very bad exit in here again, so we are struggling with the setup, and Sindro now is just flying, and we try to get a nice exit in here. We don't have a lot of oversteer compared to Sindro, who has a little snap, so he covers the inside again, and I am going to try to go around the outside for the second time, but Sindro is now more aggressive and cuts me off. But this fight is not over, but as you can see in the mirror from behind, ST5 has now caught up to us, and he is lurking behind me. He is trying to pick his opportunity to get a nice exit and then to overtake us, but we get another warning, and that is just not optimal. We already have about 9 seconds worth of time penalty, but do we get a nice exit from here? Yes, we do. We get a very good one compared to Sindro, and this is the closest we have been to him. So we break late, and we get a pretty good exit compared to Sindro, who has a snap of overseer, and this was my moment to overtake him. And now I need to try to pull away from him to use as much overtake as we can and try to pull away from him so that we don't go into more fights. But skipping on to lap 28, Sindro is now right at the back of us, so we did not do our job correctly because we did not have a lot of fuel, and Sindro has a very good exit compared to me. He uses DRS and overtake. He goes into the inside. I am going to try to outbrake him around the outside, but then we think of the switchback and we get a very good exit compared to Sindro, but Sindro tries to put us into the grass, so that was very cheeky from him. But we have the straight line speed and we defend from him, and that is the move done. So we retake P6, and as you can see now, ST5 has actually caught up to us, and he is very close to Sindro, so I think he is in the overtaking spot, and if he continues like that for the DRS straight, he is going to gain so much time on Sindro. But do we get a nice exit from here? No, we don't. We completely missed the apex, and Sindro gets an amazing one. So we are going to be very aggressive on the defense. We cut him off to the right and to the left, and we break pretty late, but Sindro goes to the back of us, and that has allowed ST5 to get a very good exit, and ST5 is now past Sindro, and he is just flying. He is trying to catch me. We go defensive into the inside. He breaks later than me, but since we have the inside line, ST5 is not able to overtake me. But now, since we have the DRS and the overtake mode, he did not have the straight line speed to fight it around the outside for the fourth corner of Austria. But now Sindro has to repush and try to overtake ST5 for P7, and now we are a bit further so we are further away from ST5, so that is pretty good. We are trying to push as much as we can, and ST5 is losing some time behind us. He is almost out of the DRS zone, but we get a bad exit in here, and he is using overtake and we are using lean mixture. But now he gets a very good exit. He seemed to get some very good exit from this corner, but Sindro actually has a very nice one. He's almost past ST5. We cover him off aggressively, and then we break later than ST5 in the inside to cover him from the move around the outside. And at this point, I barely have enough fuel, but I need to fight as much as I can to keep the position. And as ST5 actually tries to go around the outside again, but we cover him off pretty nicely. And yeah, I was just struggling so much on fuel and ERS compared to them, and they were gaining so much time. But now, skipping on to the start of the penultimate lap of this race. So lap 35. Now Syndro is right at the back of us and we do not have any fuel or overtake to fight back. So at this point the only thing I could do is try to keep it in the inside, but he has the straight line speed advantage. We try to outbrake him, we do actually, but Syndro gets the move done around the outside, and that was a very nice move by him. But yeah, so we are going to try to fight it, but we do not have any ERS nor fuel. So Syndro has actually completed the move, and now we need to worry about ST5, who is right behind us. And now, so we are going to save a little bit of fuel in this corner, but we go a little bit wide, and now ST5 gets a very nice exit, and he is very close to us. But in here we actually have the slipstream of Syndro, so we use overtake for a fraction of a second and turn down the engine. But as you can see, the red light is glowing, so that means that I barely have I have less than a lap of fuel in the tank, and I will need to save a lot of fuel in the final lap, and that is not optimal at all. But we have the DRS from Syndro, so that is going to cover us a little bit. But now, as you can see, ST5 is gaining so much time on me, and I cannot afford to use Rich Mix. We go defensive in the inside, and actually Crown Place and ST5 make a little bit of contact from behind, but now we do not have the DRS, and ST5 is gaining so much time. We are going to go aggressive in the inside. We break late, and that was a very good defense, but we are in lean mixture, and ST5 gets a very nice exit. We covered the outside pretty nicely, and yeah, that was the end of the battle of this final lap. But anyways, I am going to let you enjoy my reaction to the amount of penalties that I got. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video or want to see more of this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the notification to be the first one to be notified for when I upload. But anyways, that is it for me, and I'll see you in the next F1 2020 video. Not a good race, not a good race. Wasn't the best, it was not the best. So many penalties. That was not good at all. That was not good. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. GG's. GG's. Very, very bad race. That was a nice final battle away. Holy shit, it's like 15 seconds worth of time penalty. Ah shit, that was bad. That is bad. That is bad.